Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to the session. This is Sweta, your English Master Teacher at Vedantu, and I welcome all of you to the one short revision of the poem, The Cold Within. I hope you people have already seen the explanation of the poem, which we have done, which we had done in the previous session, right? So I'm now sure that you are ready for the one short revision, and trust me, guys, this session is going to be very, very, very crisp. And at the same time, it's going to save a lot of time, but give you the maximum knowledge. All right. So the last minute preparation of this particular poem is it's going to be really very helpful. So don't miss this session. Please remain throughout the session. Stay tuned throughout the session. Okay. So guys, are we excited to see the one short revision of this wonderful and a very thought-provoking poem, a very powerful poem, especially relevant in today's context? And as you know, I had already told you in the previous class that this was the background of the poem, right? The civil rights movement. So let's begin the poem. Let's begin the one short revision of the poem. But before that, guys, don't forget to hit the like button and give me a quick high five in the chat box so that we can quickly start with this wonderful poem. Now, I would be starting with a quote, not a quote exactly, but another very short poem, which is very, very, very relevant to this particular poem. You would be able to relate because that also has cold in it. So I told you about fire and ice, remember, in the previous session. So that's what I'm going to show you. See, fire and ice, and this ice is representing the cold, right? So we all know what is the cold in this particular poem, that is the cold within. It symbolizes hatred, right? The prejudices, okay, that each person was having, the prejudice that each person was having in this particular poem. So let's see what Robert Frost has to tell about this kind of hatred. Okay, so read the poem along with me. It's a very short poem, but it's again a very beautiful and powerful poem, a thought-provoking poem, right? Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice, which means ice, symbolic of hatred. Okay, ice is here a representation of hatred. So of course ice is cold, right? So coldness is equal to hatred, we have already seen in the cold within, right? So here Robert Frost is saying that this would lead to the destruction of the world. Okay, so it is also great to say that for destruction of what? The earth, the world. Ice is also great. That means it has the equal potential to destroy the entire earth, to bring the catastrophic end of the entire earth, and would suffice. Suffice meaning sufficient. Okay, that means icy hatred is enough. It has got enough potential to cause the destruction of the earth and hasten the apocalyptic end of the earth, right? And that is what is has been revealed in this particular poem as well, the cold within, how they all perish because they refuse to feed the fire of warmth, okay, uh, because of their prejudices, right? So now I would be showing you the mapping of the poem. I will go full screen and I will show you the mapping of the poem, and that will make the entire picture of the poem absolutely clear to you. So very, very, very useful, useful technique to actually bring the entire poem in front of you, and for your final preparation, for your final revision, this session is going to be very helpful. So please do let me know, guys, are you people excited to see the mapping of the entire poem? Give me a quick high five in the chat box, a thumbs up in the chat box, and now here we go with the map. Okay, so first before the mapping of the poem, guys, thank you so much for the word of the day. Okay, it has been given by Naman. Yes, I forgot to mention. Okay, thank you so much for the word of the day. Okay, it's diffident and part of speech is adjective, meaning hesitant in acting or speaking through lack of self confidence. And the sentence has also been given. Thank you so much, Naman. And also, all of you, thank you so much for posting your comments. But I am not able to see the answers. Few people are posting the answers. Please do also post the homework answers, the comment for the homework answers. That is beneficial for you people only. You would be having a practice, right? Okay, so now be ready for the mapping. All right, here you go with the mapping. Okay, let me go full screen, people. Right. So I would begin with the summary first. It's a verse story about six men who died of their selfishness, that is, hatred, as we have already seen, for refusing to offer sticks that they had in their store. Now, all of them were trapped in the bleak and bitterly cold weather, okay, and they all had one stick, but each one of them refused to give in order to keep the fire burning. The first man was a racist, okay, he refused to give because he was, there was a black man in the group, right? Whereas the black man, he was also a racist, he was also vengeful, he wanted to take revenge because of the prolonged hatred that he had faced. So he thought to keep his stick to spite the white, okay. So he also had hatred for the white. The second man, he was a sectarian, a religious bigot. He also did not give his log because there was none from his community. No one in the group shared the same religious views that he was sharing. So therefore he refused. Third man was a poor man, okay, and he also refused to give his log because he saw that the rich man was there and he did not want to want the rich man to benefit out of his log, right? In contrast, the rich man thought not to give his stick as he didn't like the poor for their laziness and their lack of ambition. So each one of them were possessing a sin of prejudice. And the last man was an opportunist, okay? And he only thought of capturing the sticks of the others. In this way, he also refused to give the stick, and somehow they resisted the external cold. They failed to resist the external cold, and they died from the cold within. So yes, they did resist the external cold. They could have resisted the external cold, but they died of the cold within because they refused to give their logs. Therefore, what was responsible for their for them to perish? It was because of their cold within themselves, right? So this was the summary. Now, theme, we have lack of feelings, hatred for others. That is, of course, prejudice. We have seen so many prejudices, right? Now, prejudice could relate to race, color, caste, religion, or region. Okay, and each log was a symbol of each sin that the human beings that these people possessed. And please note the mention of the word human, okay, at the very beginning of the poem, which was to remind you people, remind all of us that we have a human bond which we have forgotten because of the prejudices that we have for each other, right? Now, the title refers to the coldness which we carry in our hearts, that is dangerous and fatal, would lead to the destruction of the earth, as also Robert Frost has said in the poem Fire and Ice, right, which I had already shown you, prevents us from reaching out to others and helping and saving ourselves and also others. And it makes us lead a sinful life. And therefore, at last, we see that all of them were consumed by the cold within their hearts. So they died from the cold within their hearts. So I hope you people understood the summary, the theme. So this entire map is going to give you a complete 10 minutes revision of the entire poem. And you are done with the poem. So what do you think? Do you think this kind of mapping is helping you? Please do let me in the chat box. Give me a thumbs up, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the story map, the mapping of the poem along with the theme and the title. And now we will be seeing the poetic devices. So let's go ahead with the poetic devices. Okay, literary devices or poetic devices. Now, here the first one is metonymy. Saw one not of his church. So church is representation of the religion, the same, having the same religious opinion, right? So therefore it is metonymy. The figure of speech over here is metonymy, right? And then we have alliteration. So metonymy is basically when it's a phrase when something you're representing something else. Okay, so church represents uh, the religious views. Okay, religion. So therefore, here you have got metonymy. Then we have alliteration. I hope you know what is alliteration. Bleak and bitter. There's repetition of the same consonant sound at the beginning of the syllable. All right. Now, allegory. Allegory is basically similar to symbol. Okay, symbol. So each one possessed a stick of wood. So this stick of wood is the symbolic representation of the sin. Okay, so sins of prejudice. Okay, each prejudice, religious bigotry, then racism, poverty. I mean, the class, prejudice of classicism. Okay, unequal distribution of wealth, right? So this is the symbolic representation, that is allegory. Next, we had discussed of this particular figure of speech, forlorn group, in the previous session. It's an oxymoron, the two contrasting words juxtaposed together. Forlorn, which means, lonely, but group is something which is in herd, right? So though they were in group, but still they were lonely because each one shared some kind of prejudice for the other. So that made them separated from the group, right? So that's the oxymoron here. And then we have personification. Their logs held tight in death's still hands. So death has been personified here, possessing still hands. Okay, given human attributes. Okay, and then finally we have metaphor. Played the game. Now, what kind of game? Game of life and death, right? So it's the metaphorical representation of the game of life and death, which is a dangerous game. I hope you people are clear with the literary devices. So just having the knowledge of the literary devices is not enough. You need to know when and where to utilize them in the answers, because most of you know the literary devices, but when you're asked the question, you do not usually give you do not usually incorporate them in your answers. So please try and incorporate them in your answers. Alright, guys. So let's move ahead with the question and answer session. So guys, I want your reply. I want your active participation in the chat box. Please do answer the questions. Okay. The very first question, we will come to the very first question, but let's take a short 2-minute break so that you can prepare yourselves. And during this 2-minute break, I would be talking about, yes, our courses. So if you want to join us and gain 100% knowledge and 100% marks, you need to visit the link in the description box and pin comment. You would be able to have unlimited live classes, no more waiting for mentee sessions, because you would have quiz questions in each and every session. All right, you get a lot of exposure because you get to compete throughout with the students throughout the world. Plus, even the replays are interactive. You have quiz questions even in the replays. You participate there even when you are watching the replay, and you even have the leaderboard, which is going to show you the overall class rank and earn points. Plus, you could download all the notes along with the handwritten notes of the master teacher at the end of the session. Plus, your doubts are solved then and there with the help of our class teachers who will be sitting there to solve all your doubts, to cater to each and every doubt. So no more piling up of your doubts, guys, right? Assignments and tests. Yes, we will get assignments at the end of each session, and we also conduct quality tests and we give you the performance report of that test. So that is again very, very helpful. Plus, the crash courses and micro courses are absolutely free. Micro courses are chapter wise courses. So if you face any problem in any particular chapter, you can also attend the micro course related to that particular chapter, right? and that to all of this in very less price. So let us see, guys. What we need to do, we need to click on the link and use the coupon code SWRE Pro. So quickly go to the link and you will find the complete description of the three plans. Now, what are the three plans? Light, Classic, Plus. Now, what will you get? In the first plan, you will get live interactive online classes, test series and analysis, assignments, notes, doubt solving during the class. All of these features you will get in all of these three plans. Okay. In the classic plan, you can try this plan for each and every plan you can try for 1 month. In the classic plan, you will get doubt solving also. Okay. So that is something special. You can try this for a month, and also, guys, for the plus plan, you will get a personal mentor. Okay. You can also try this for a month. Right, and all the micro courses are free, guys. Unlimited micro courses you will get. And guys, your batch starting dates are mentioned here. Please take a screenshot of this. Please note the dates of the batch starting. Okay, so now we will be starting with our question and answer session. So guys, please be very active. Those of you who had gone for a break, please come back and let's begin with the very first question. Please do mention the answer in the chat box. Don't forget. Okay. So guys, read the extract and answer the question below. The last man of this forlorn group, this is the final paragraph, the last stanza. Alright? The last stanza. Okay. Now the question is, who is the opportunist in the poem? We have just now talked about that, right? How does the poem relate to the society today? I had given this question as your homework also. Alright, so let's check the answer for the very first question. Please let me know your inputs for the first answer. Who is the opportunist in the poem? Quickly tell me in the chat box, guys. I am waiting to see your answers. You people hardly respond when it comes to question and answers, guys. If you don't respond now, it will be very difficult for you to frame your answers in the examination hall, right? So please practice along with the session. It is going to be really very beneficial and fruitful for you people. So please do post your answers and then check your answers with the model answer that I am giving you. Okay. All right. Now, an opportunist is a person who seeks opportunity for his own advantage in any situation and any circumstance. Now, when you are talking about who is the opportunist, the first step should be explaining the term opportunist. So first step should be explaining the term. Okay. Once you have explained the term opportunist, then you go to the next step would be in the context of the poem. Okay, these are the steps. See, these approaches will help you in answering the question. Okay, and that will fetch you the maximum marks. Alright, guys. So in James Patrick Kinney's poem, The Cold Within, the last man of the forlorn group was an opportunist. This is because, and then you finally say the reason of calling him an opportunist. Okay, please follow these three steps. This is because he only wanted to deal with them who gave him something in return for his stick, and that is why he was an opportunist. All right, guys, and you can also you can also mention the game of, the metaphorical representation of the game of life and death. You can also say that the poet has incorporated metaphor in order to emphasize on the dangerous game that the opportunists play. Okay, and as a result, what happened? The entire group perished. Okay, so you can conclude your answer with this. This would be a befitting conclusion to your answer. I hope you are clear with the answer and what should be the approach of your answer to gain the maximum marks possible. Because literature is the only section which is the known section, and here you can actually score the maximum marks apart from the reading and the grammar section also. Okay, so try and also take opportunity. Okay, next question, guys. How does the poem relate to the society today? I had already given you this question as your homework. So guys, please tally this with your answers. The The poem Cold Within is very relevant even in the present day world. Okay, and at the beginning only, when I was explaining this poem, I had told you about the contemporary relevance of this poem. We see that the six people who gathered around a dying fire refused to share their logs to keep the fire burning. It was because of the narrow mindedness and discrimination that they all faced death. So basically, you are summarizing. The first step should be the summarizing of the poem. Okay, short summarizing, not the full length critical analysis. Okay, now next step would be the message. Okay, the message conveyed, which we had already done in today's session. So what is that? People should not discriminate. So people should not have these prejudices and biases on petty issues like caste, class, religion, color, or ethnicity for their own good. At least in times of need, they should come forward to help each other in order to save humanity. Otherwise, the very existence of human species is at stake, which we have clearly seen in this particular poem at the end. The poem has not lost its relevance because the world is yet to gather enough wisdom to know how to live in peace and harmony. The problem of discriminatory attitude is rather on a rise all over the world, which we have often seen, which we are still seeing. We often hear of the ill treatment of the people on the basis of caste, color, gender, religion, or ethnicity, not only in the developing countries but also in the developed ones. Okay, and this black-white, this racism, it's still very fresh, right? It's still happening today. So the poem is not only very fitting for today's readers. So this poem is very, very fitting for today's readers, and you can also talk about, the quote with which we began. Quote from the poem Fire and Ice. Okay, where you can talk about this hatred, ice symbolizing hatred, okay, which could lead to the destruction of the world. So catastrophic, which could hasten the catastrophic end of the world. Okay, so please, if you can do this, if you can include this quote, or just explain this in your own words, that in Fire and Ice also, the famous poet Robert Frost had pointed out how hatred is responsible, or it has the potential to bring about or to hasten the catastrophic end of the world. Then this could add to your answer, and it could make your answer different from the others, and it could fetch you bonus marks. Okay, so try this, guys. And now we would be moving to our next question. This is from the very second stanza, I guess. Yes, the second stanza. So, what was the need of the hour? Okay, what was the need of the hour? And how is the poem a satire on human nature? Please do let me know the answer for the very first one first. What was the need of the hour? We all know, right? We all know. So please post your answers in the chat box. Everyone should post your answers. I will see right now. Everyone will post their answers. Whatever you know, please do. Okay? Right. The need of the hour simply refers to some need at some point in time. Right? Need of the hour is some need at that particular point of time. Need of the hour has implication that it needs to be on high priority. Right? So first, what you need to do is, as I told you in the very beginning, and in the previous question, that you have to explain the term, right? So explain the term need of the hour, and then go to the context. In the context of the poem, this should be the approach. Okay, most essential need or requirement is the need of the hour, and it refers to the most recent need or the most pressing need. The need of the hour. Now, from here we are going to the context of the poem. This should be the second step. It was to keep the fire burning alive by feeding it with more logs, or else the cold would freeze them all to death. However, due to their racist nature, or due to rather their prejudices, not just racist nature, but due to their prejudices, due to their hatred, okay, due to the whole lack of warmth within their hearts, lack of warmth in their heart for uh, or you can say, lack of humanity. Okay, what happened was none of them gave their law. Okay, and thus they died due to the cold within. That is again the lack of warmth or kindness or compassion or the bond of humanity, and not due to the cold weather outside or the external cold weather. All right, guys. Now we move to the second question. How is the poem a satire on human nature? Satire is basically, uh, uh, you know, pointing out the follies of human nature. So, how is it an attack or you can say blow on human nature? Okay, please do let me know in the chat box. Hurry up and let me know in the chat box. Okay, let's quickly have a look, guys. The poem The Cold Within by Patrick Kinney is a satire on human nature of discrimination, or you can also say prejudice, okay, that we all have. Through this poetic parable, the poet criticizes the selfish and prejudiced nature of the entire human race. Okay, he attributes their death to their cold in the hearts, the absence of warm, loving feelings, and not to the cold atmosphere outside. Right? So you have to basically talk about the prejudices, and you can also refer to the message of the poem. Okay, the theme and the message that we have already done at the very beginning when I showed you the mapping of the entire poem. Please refer to these 2 points to get points to elaborate on this answer. All right, guys. So I hope you people have understood so far. And now, please do post your answer for this particular question. What role did prejudice, discrimination, racism, and envy play in the poem? So this is also talking about the attack on human nature, right? So attack on human nature, same. Okay, both of the answers are almost the same, only you have to mold your answer according to the question. The introduction and the conclusion would change a bit, otherwise the question is almost the same. I mean, the answer would be almost the same. So I would like to see how have you learned to write your own answers. So please do write the answers for this question in the comment section. I will be reading out your answers in the next session. Okay, so till then, take care and don't forget to post the word of the day along with the homework answers. I see people posting the word of the day, but very few of you, or maybe no one, posts the homework answers. So please don't do that. Homework answer you have to write in the comment section. I do read the comments. Okay. So thank you so much for watching and do share this video amongst your friends. I hope you loved the one shot series and I hope this was this was beneficial for you people. This benefited you people, and do let me know if you want something else in the one shot series. Okay, is the mapping and everything fine with you, or you want any particular modification? So please let me know your views in the comment section, but do let me know. Okay, till then, guys, thank you so much. Bye bye, everyone. Take care. See you again in the next session.